The problem with that word is that we translate that because of the abuse that we've been experiencing, because of the brokenness of our culture, because of simply just the domino effect of the world that we lived in. We translate submission as inequality. Think about it for a second. Submission as inequality. So if you were to submit as a wife to your husband, as a child to your parents, as a man to the government, whatever, we typically translate that as inequality. And obviously inequality is a problem because, again, we have seen so much abuse in our generation and things like that. The person of God illustrates this and completely dissipates that myth, that mistake perception of submission as inequality. Because what you see with the pretzel, which is one pretzel, it has 3 holes. For us is the representation of the kind of the illustration of the God who is Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. And what makes God, the one true God, is 3 persons. So we don't worship 3 gods, we worship one God, which is 3 persons. But within the relationship of the triune God, we see in the Bible that the Son submitted to the Father. But his submission to the Father did not make Jesus, did not put Jesus in inequality with God. Philippians chapter 2, being in the condition of God, he did not consider something to be grasped, but instead he detached himself and he submitted to the Father. And then the Holy Spirit submits to the Son. All that I'm trying to tell you is that within the Godhead, and you see the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit, there is a sense of ranking. There is a sense of functionality that the Son submits to the Father and the Holy Spirit submits to the Son, and yet the Father is God, the Son is God, and the Holy Spirit is God. What am I saying? That submission is not a synonym of inequality. This is extremely important in a time and age where this word, again, this is a word that, for some of you ladies, some of us growing up, if we grew up in a home that was authoritative, in a home that unfortunately there was abuse, we translate this word negatively. I've been preaching to you and teaching you through the book of Peter, and a couple of Sundays ago we went into this whole priesthood of believers. And tragically, and I say tragically among Baptist churches, we translate that as I have the right to vote or I have the right to access God, where in reality the whole priesthood of believers is that we get to spread the gospel to the nations. That's what it means. Because the only right that we get when it comes to the relationship with Christ and one another is literally to be under his authority, under his submission. And I believe fatherhood, manhood for that matter, is literally to be under the authority of God. Now, what does that mean? Well, this is what it means. It means that in essence, going back to the pretzel, the essence of the pretzel is not just one hole that makes the pretzel. It's not 2 holes that make, it's 3 holes. So in essence, although we can talk about the distinctiveness of the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit, we cannot separate them. So in essence, when I think about my family, we're 5 in the family, 6 if you count Chucho, but we're 5. And if my house were to cut on fire, and the fire department shows up to save us, they're not gonna save people based on ranking, like who makes the most money, or who's the oldest, or who's the wisest, who's got more degrees. All that I'm trying to tell you is, in essence, every single life matters. Do you agree to that? In essence, because we were created in the image of God. But we are so confused, the fog, beginning from manhood, and ladies choosing those men. So it's a double. Anyways, I just want ladies to hear me say this. We live in a time and age that this is confused. There is confusion on this between essence and function. Because what the Bible is teaching us, that within the Trinity, just because the Son submitted to the Father doesn't change the essence. He's still God. Jesus is God. Just because the Holy Spirit submits to the Son doesn't change the essence. So ladies, when you submit to your husband, you're not changing the essence. That doesn't imply inequality. When a man submits to the leadership of other men through the local church, it's not changing the essence. But ultimately, we do it for a specific purpose, and the purpose is the function. So translate that again into the view of God when it comes to essence, and then also for the function, that the functionality, again, at home, why there is a father, why there is a mother, and then there are children, is for the purpose of function. There's a functionality on these things. We live in a time and age that tragically, we have children functioning as parents, and we have parents that have delegated the responsibility, the functionality of leading. I mean, again, because the issue, I'm gonna say that again, the issue is that the view is foggy.